So hello everyone. Today I would like to present Ynsect and how we intend to reinvent the food chain by providing natural and healthy, sustainable ingredients for everyone. So just a quick presentation for myself. Been in the company for the last 4 years. I'm in charge of the business development for the pet food, aquafeed, and fertilizer, mainly in Europe. And so I have a technical background as well, Master of Aquaculture and a Diploma of Engineers. So I think the main idea I would like to share with you is the first idea of how we started this company at Ynsect is to reduce the pressure on natural resources such as land. As you know, 50% of half of the agricultural land are used for feed production and grazing. And if we go on the water side, there is about 70% of the natural water which is used for consumed by the agriculture. And so at Ynsect, we intend to bring back the insect into the food chain. And so that's why we are now 140 people, a lot of scientists, engineers with international origin. And so it's really started in 2011, so a long time ago. And then we've been able, over the last 5 years, to raise $200 million. We've built the first demo plant in 4 years ago in 2016 in the east part of France. So it's about 10 million euro investment. And so now with this experience, we believe we are able to go for the next scale, the industrial plant. And so we're also a big and a strong member of the IPIF. Of everyone know about the IPIF. And so we are a strong touch with the EU regulator, and we intend to do a big shift in the regulation with everyone in the coming years on the food side, France as well. So maybe to come back at Ynsect, why did we choose the mirror? I think it's most of the players are focusing on the other one, and we decided to focus on this one because we believe it's the one that will be able to go for the very large-scale farming. So because at the adult stage it's a non-flying species. We also use dry substrates, so which is easier to control in comparison with wet substrates when you do have a lot of stock. It also produces low heat emission. You don't need any light. But I think one of the main reasons is the high protein composition of the larvae, one of the highest among insect species. And we also proved to have a high performance on animals and also some functionality. So I will come back to that later. And we also believe with this 50 years of history of farming of this insect across the different continents, we are confident that we have a low risk of diseases. So the insect cycle is 90 days in total in optimal environment. So from the eggs to the mature larvae, it takes 70 days, and then you have a 20 days, about 20 days for the reproduction cycle. And so at the end, we keep 95% of the larvae for the transformation, and we keep 5% for the reproduction cycle in the general. Here's the pilot plant that was built in 2016, 3,000 meters square, more than 10 million euro investments. So we developed the technology from scratch. And we also have a portfolio of 29 patents. international patent that protect the farming, the process, the product, the application. And so we do it in vertical farming. That is located in the east part of France. One slide to sum up Ynsect is that we use only vegetable byproducts that are widely available in Europe and in North America. So what we do is automatic farming, reproduction, growth, feeding, and sorting. And then we have the automated process at the end. So sterilization, processing, drying, and packaging. We have three main products. The protein, which is called the in-meal, the in-oil, and the frass, which we call the in-frass. With that, we target the aquafeed, the pet food, and the plant fertilizer market with more than $110 million investment for the coming years to come. Here, I'm not going to be too long on this, but when we have this mature larvae at the end of the farming cycle, so we have the sterilization with steam, and then we have pure larvae that are clean from byproduct that may be stick to the cuticles. And then we have the cooking, sterilization, and separation with the mechanical decanter, so we don't use any solvent, organic solvents. And so we have the two main products at the end. The in-meal, a little focus on this. I think the big difference, what you can find on the market with the insect meal is that we reach 70% of protein content, 13% of fat, chitin, which represent the fiber, which represent about 9 to 8%. But if we go look deeper into the composition of the protein, we have 95% which are below the 12 kilodalton. So we have small size protein, easily accessible and digestible by the animals. 20% of hydrosoluble over the total protein content. That is similar, for instance, if you compare with chicken liver hydrolysates, which is known in the pet food. So at the end, it's also well balanced in terms of amino acid for cat, dogs, or even fish and shrimp. Here, the in-oil, which is liquid at room temperature. The melting point is about 4 degrees. And so here you have the composition of it, which is similar to canola oil or peanut oil, with 25% of saturated fat. Here's some publication we've done in the aquafeed trial. So here it's a trial that was done at sparrows on rainbow trout, and we've been able to reduce the feed conversion rate by 15% over 90 days. But what is the most impressive here is that we have been able to reduce the growth time by 33%. So in other terms, we've been able to reach the final body weight with the diet 25. So that means we replace 100% of the fish meal in these diets on the right side. And we achieved that in 60 days instead of 90 days for the control. Here, it's another trial done at Nofima. Here, gentle stress was applied on the smolt during the seed transfer with in high density, similar to a hatchery process. And so we reduced the mortality from 6.7% to the 0 level in diet B or C. So diet B was 50% fish meal replacement, and diet C 100%. Here a little focus on safety and heavy metals pesticide. We've shown that there was a lower content of arsenic, mercury in the meal in comparison with fish meal, and also had a lower non-detectable content of some pesticide on the bottom side. So that's an interesting point if we assume that fish meal may be contaminated sometimes with heavy metals. It also makes the eel meal safe for human consumption. And so that's a focus we're starting to look at. New markets we will focus on for the next coming years. Here, little talk about a publication that was, I think it was last year, that we've been able to publish this data. And here we've shown that there was a trial that lasted for 9 weeks with different inclusion of in meal and replacement of fish meal. And so at the end of this trial, there was a challenge test with a Vibrio bacterial pathogen. And so here on the left side, you can see that we've been able to increase the phenol oxidase activity and also to decrease the bacterial pathogen presence into the plasma of this shrimp. And so on the survival rate on the right side, we've been able to improve by 60% the survival rates in comparison with the control. So that was an impressive result as well. And here some talks about some trials on mammal, because we also focus on the pet food and for later the human nutrition. Here it's an external study that was done with mealworm protein that was not from us, but still mealworm protein from the university and veterinary University of Munich. So it's a 2 weeks trial with dogs with skin lesion, and with only 10% of inclusion of meal protein into the dog's diet over 2 weeks. We've been able to improve the skin lesion by 60%, the coat quality for 42% of the dogs. And so it brings, it offers some promising results and perspective for dogs with food intolerance, because some dogs have some allergy to conventional protein, animal protein source. Here, University of Gießen in Germany. So it's a trial that was done on dogs, on obese rats. And so we replaced 20% of the casein inclusion in the control by 50% in diet B and 100% in the diet C. It lasted for 4 weeks. And what is shown here is that we've been able to decrease the biosynthesis of triglycerol and cholesterol into the liver of this obese rat. So that was that gives some perspective for the human food market later. And we also decreased into the plasma and the liver the concentration of the homocysteine. So the homocysteine is responsible for cardiovascular disease. So again, that gives some ideas about the functionality we can expect from this protein. And here to sum up and to conclude, I mentioned the commercial unit we are building from March this year. We expect to come on stream in 2020 with a capacity that will reach 18,000 tons of protein, 4,000 tons of oil. And so that's going to be the biggest vertical insect farm in the world. It's probably going to sum up the production capacity of many insect production facility in Europe. And also a big proportion of this ingredient we will produce will be the infras. So the infras is a product that will be used in organic agriculture, for instance. And so it's a way for us to bring back the carbon into the food chain, into the soil, and to have a sustainable production. And so it will be located in Amiens, and after that, we are also expecting additional plants to be built in Europe, North America, and elsewhere. That's it for me. Thank you for your attention.